We're here with Adriel McConnell, U.S. Army Corps engineer, leading person for the Ports project. Mr. McConnell, thanks for sitting with La Hora, and thanks for making the time in such a busy trip.
Excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Today was signed a letter of intent between the Guatemalan and U.S. Army, and I would like to ask some questions for the general public, those who are not engineers or do not know the technicalities of what has transpired today. So what's the extent of work the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is doing in the port?
Well, we've got a very momentous occasion here to begin our partnership officially to both develop the future vision of expansions to the port to increase its capacity, as well as implement some of the early construction projects that are immediately beneficial to improving its capacity for all of its infrastructure that it's bringing in.
And what's the time frame from the expansion? What type of work are you going to do? You're doing a feasibility study.
Sure.
What to expect in the next months or years?
Well, we worked closely with the Port Authority in February to understand the depth of the studies that they've done historically, as well as a lot of the major designs that they've already developed to date. And because of that work that they've done, we've been able to really accelerate what would be our normal process to do a feasibility study to determine what is that right path for infrastructure upgrades. So our feasibility study is really determining the future phases of expansion. And we're leaning on great information that the port and Guatemala has already done for full designs that were developed in 2019. And so we intend to come in, validate those designs, and accelerate them towards a construction process. All of this done under the standard guidance and policies that we use in the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and the U.S. government to implement design and construction processes.
And what about the capacity? I mean, what should we expect about gaining more capacity to deal and manage our ports in terms for, as I said, the people who are not experts on the subject, what will it look like?
So you have about 4 to 5 berthing spots currently at Quetzal to do a lot of the containers, the grain, the sugar cane, and we're looking to increase that by 4 additional berthing places. Not only are we looking to add berths, but we're looking to increase the depths of the types of vessels that can come in. So we're increasing the space as well as the amount of material that comes in. This is going to be in alignment with the vessel draft capabilities that are coming through the Panama Canal. Going up to 50 feet of draft availability is our target.
So that'll put Guatemala in a different level. And in the next 5 years, what of the work that has been agreed is going to be done?
We are targeting around the end of 2027 to begin a lot of the construction works in phase 1. We believe we're able to do this based on a lot of the hard work that the port has already done in designs for that first phase. So the hope is if we are successful, as we believe we will be, you'll see some groundbreaking, I think, in early 2028 to increase that berthing.
There's going to be a joint construction. Once you have the designs in place, it's going to be U.S. Army, Guatemalan Army doing the construction, or how's it going to work?
Our current plan is the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers will be the main overseer of the construction. And so through our processes, our federal acquisition regulations, we will oversee and manage the advertising and award of this to a selected firm. It will be a fair and balanced process. We will work together with the Port Authority and the Ministry of Defense to select that contractor who will do the construction for the port.
Thanks for making it so easy to understand. It's no secret that our country has suffered with the malfunction of our ports for diverse issues. such as corruption, unions, organized crime, drug traffickers, most recently some Congress guys that are willing to go into the ports. So how are those issues dealt on the execution of this letter of intent?
Well, since the government of Guatemala and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers are developing this partnership, we're seeing a lot of trust. What I mean by that is this partnership transfers that funding for the Corps of Engineers to implement this project. So we're going to follow our practices, which are very transparent, not only to the U.S. government, but to the government of Guatemala, so that everyone will be able to see this process. It will be able to go through, I think, very scrutinous Inspector General audits and pass with flying colors to ensure that this gets awarded fairly and competitively to the right firm.
In other words, having so many eyes on the ports, the process, for those guys who want to use the ports for different reasons, it's going to be more difficult, right?
Yes, we've got the first phase is very strategic, but the feasibility study will ensure future projects are of the most economic benefit to not only the port, but the nation.
You told me before that you were here in February this year, and I assume that for a project like this, the U.S. Army, in order to get into a letter of intent, makes a comprehensive due diligence, right?
Yes.
Based upon of what the U.S. Army has seen, is there any Chinese presence in the Puerto Quetzal port?
We are just beginning our partnership with the Port Authority. But from our visit in February, and we got to visit the port again this week as part of the rail initiatives, the Port Authority was very transparent with us, very open, and walked us through a lot of details of their port operations. At no point in time did I see anything that led to things that would be of concern to that nation, to that perspective.
Perfect. And just before we go, how critical is for the economies of the world to have good functioning ports?
The Corps of Engineers' primary mission in the world of water resources is to ensure navigation and flood risk management for the U.S. One of our dominant efforts is to ensure we have sound projects that are economically feasible and in the best interest of the nation, as well as resilient and sustainable for the environment. And so we're using those processes to ensure your port and others are of that same balance, that they reach your economic goals to the best way possible.
Thank you. I know it has been a busy trip, so thanks for making the time.
Thank you very much. We look forward to this partnership, and I think this will be a long and fruitful relationship for both of our countries.
Thank you, and thank you all.